Ooh, it's a hot one today, y'all. Today I have in my possession the Silverbirch Agent 88 SnowKitty. It is right here behind me, and I'm getting ready to unwrap this thing. Let's see what this thing looks like, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm just gonna show you a little bit what I've done here tonight so far. I've go ahead and pulled the saddle. I've shaved it, trimmed it a little bit. I think I've got it where I can at least put it in the boat, take it out on the water tomorrow, and go ahead and get it trimmed out. So that way I can get it trimmed, get the boat trimmed where I want it to be. Then I can mark it. Once I get it marked where it needs to be in the floor of the canoe, I can go ahead and pull it out and start doing the other work that I want to do on it, which for me is putting holes in it, installing the pump, the bilge pump, the switches, and getting exactly where I need to be to do that. So let's take a look here. As you can see, I have it pulled out of the boat, took everything apart. You don't have to do this. I like to label my thwarts, just so I know where I'm going when I put them back in. It's really hard to mess these up, but still, it's just, have the sidewall pads. I'll put those in later on as well. But here, you can see, I'm gonna move this outside really quick a little bit. Here you can see I went ahead and made my cuts, trimmed out. For me, I take about 3/4 of an inch on this boat out of the backside. I don't take any height out of the Agent. I don't feel I need to go any lower in it. The covert, I do like to be a little lower, but the Agent, I only take it off the backside to get me to fit. For my legs, I just take those out a little bit for now. Then once I'm in it, get it in the boat, get everything leveled out, I'll do some additional trimming as needed on those. Then here you can see I just round those edges to make the softer edges on my thighs when I'm in the boat. All right, crew, so the Agent 88 SnowKitty Night 1 is ready to go for a test run tomorrow. Got a little bit carved out, set in, got my bags in for my covert in there, and we'll go out tomorrow and give her a test run to get the trim set. So, all right, y'all, welcome back. What we're going to do today here is we're coming down here to essentially trim it out, to find the saddle placement and where it needs to be in the boat. And what that means is you don't want the bow of the boat to be leaning forward, and you don't want the stern of the boat to be leaning too far backwards where the bow of your boat is just simply sticking way out of the water. You want to find somewhere in the middle where the bow of your boat is slightly out of the water and the stern is slightly back, more so in the water. So you want to have something that's not like this leaning forward, not like this leaning back doing a wheelie, but something right where you just got a little bit, just a little bit of weight on the back side of your boat. So we're going to hopefully find that sweet spot today out here while I'm doing this today. So let's see what happens. So I don't know if you guys could see there, but I got pretty lucky and I hit this thing right on the head the first time. My trim is actually pretty much where I want it. I want to have a little more weight in the back side of that with my battery and my pump. So that'll put me just a little more than where I'm at right now, but I'm pretty happy with it. So now it's time to go home, mark everything on the boat so I know exactly where the saddle needs to be. Then I'll pull the saddle, start cutting it apart and putting in my pump and all the electrical components to get it ready to ride. So, all right, so what I've done is I've measured my spots. I've evened out the saddle both from left to right to make sure the bottoms are centered up to where it needs to be symmetrically in the canoe. I've also taken Sharpie and outlined it and put my start point here and finish point here. Now what I'm doing is I'm pulling the laces out. I'm going to take off the thwarts, pull the laces back here, and then I'll pull the saddle. I'm going to start cutting the saddle after that to make sure I have room to put my pump in. So the next part, I'm going to remove these bolts. If I can get them out, if not, I'll remove what I can. Slide these out of the way, and I'm going to work and put my cut in here to put my channel to hold my pump. This should give me room towards the backside, since the boat is a bit stern heavy, and the water is going to come to the backside and it'll collect more water here than if it was up more centrally located in the boat. So here you can see everything is removed. I've got my PVC rough cut, and then I'm going to mark on the saddle where I want it to go, and then I'm going to cut the saddle out. Then I'll do the install after that. Cut in some holes in the sides here and here of the PVC to allow the pump to have a pipe that exits, and also it's going to come out the back side. And then I'm going to run the electrical through this way. This is the front of the saddle, except as you can see, it is upside down for now. Sorry. We are now marked, and time to make the cuts. Let's see how this goes. All right, just like that, the chunk is out. Let me show you a little bit of dry placement before I mark and cut the PVC and put it in. Then I'll glue it in once it's all in. I'll mark it and I'll cut it. And as you can see, I've got about 1/4 inch of room that I'm going to put foam over top of here. That way that protects the hull of the canoe from any kind of damage. There'll be protection from the foam here. All right, so as you can see here, this is just a dry fit. It's not in completely yet because underneath that PVC there'll be actually 1/4 inch of foam that goes underneath that. This is just a dry fit. The water jet will go out the back this time versus the front of my other boat. I use the PVC pipe to drill a hole through. This hole goes down through to the pump. I'll be able to run the wires there. I'll also put me a hole right through here. This is where my switch will go. So unfortunately, I was unable to get all the video that I wanted to do for this project. So I've got a still picture here. I'm going to go through a few items just to show you what I was able to do with the boat. We'll start at the top left. You see my rear water exit port that I drilled and installed. That's where the water will go out on this boat. Some folks like to put this up front. I like to put it in the rear going forward on any of my boats, for the fact that if you're left or right-handed paddler, this is not really going to get in the way for you. I have my battery pack strapped on the back of the saddle. Next, you'll see what I did on this boat, which was a little bit different than my past boat. And the point of doing this video, this is held for 1.5 years. I used a strip of 4-inch wide Velcro. The reason I did this is so I can remove the saddle if I need to and not have to worry about ungluing, scraping out glue, and all kinds of issues that come up. I have pulled this saddle out once already due to some wiring issues with my pump. I had connection come loose, so that was very beneficial. So I was able to just pull the Velcro out and pull the saddle out, fix my wiring, put everything back in. So I will say after 1.5 years, this has held up very well. And what I did uniquely to help hold that in, as the bow and stern of the saddle, you can see there's foam blocks that I have glued in. And what that does is keeps the saddle from shifting front or backwards, which is very beneficial for any kind of impact or any kind of drops. This way, if I hit anything, the saddle has not moved forward or towards the rear. Where I got those foam blocks is I took that section that I cut out for the PVC channel underneath the saddle, and I split that in two, so I didn't have to get any extra foam from anywhere else, and I was able to use those in place. As I mentioned earlier, you can see that the bilge pump was installed towards the rear side of the saddle. And as I mentioned earlier, my boat is a little stern heavy, how I like to set it up. So this allows it to collect all the water, almost all of the water out of the boat and take it out of the bilge pump. Also, you'll see I have installed a rocker switch that is buried inside of my saddle, so it's really handy and convenient up front anytime I need it just to reach down and turn that thing on. One of the final things I like to do is if I ever need to replace that rocker switch, I put some extra wire down inside of the saddle, but so it doesn't get in the way, I push it way down in there and I put a little pigtail there to pull out the wire just in case I ever have to replace that switch. So no, there is my boat. I know there's a few things that we're missing, but if you have any questions, feel free to post. Let me know. Otherwise, let's go ahead and take a look at what she looks like right now. And also, don't forget, y'all, until next time, let's go find some water.